Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Chiefs Blitz podcast presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831, 816-405-5831. After all, he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Show, four guys in a bar. Every Wednesday, we're going to just ad lib. We're going to talk about what we think is relevant. And if anybody has any comments, please bring it on. But before first I introduce my co-host, I want to introduce first our new title sponsor, and that would be Dave Purdy at Supreme Lending. If you're looking for a mortgage or just want some information, just want to see if you can get approved, whether you're self-employed, whether you have a W-2 job, it doesn't make any difference. If you found the house, then you need a guy you can trust, and that's Dave Purdy. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831 or reach him by email at dave.purdy@supremelending.com. What do we think of Dave? We think he's pretty good.
Pretty good. Hey, he's also a very shrewd investor. Coming in early on this show.
Yeah.
You know, so people are going to be like scratching their heads. How'd we miss this? Dave's in there.
Hey,
Dave is in there. Right
still
off
got
the bat, man.
Still got a chance to come in and get other sponsors. Anyway, Dave, thank you very much for trusting us. And again, for your mortgage needs, give Dave Purdy a call. We're gonna have a great show today. Sometimes our before show and after show are pretty good. And so we just kind of decided today, we threw a few topics out there and just kind of wing it and see where we go. That seems to be our shtick. So this is affectionately called Four Guys in a Bar. That's going to be the segment every Wednesday. So I introduce my co-host first, the other old man in the group, Lou Montagna. Lou,
it's
what's
5
up,
o'clock
buddy?
Somewhere, Nick.
It is 5 o'clock somewhere. That water and vodka probably tastes pretty good. Andre Tillman, Coach Dre, welcome. And Hense Todd, the man who puts the show together, who does things behind the scenes that are crucial, critical, and important. And thank God we have him on our side. What's that? Is it your Wheaties box or something?
And he is well hydrated. Let's go.
He's well hydrated. Welcome, guys. So, boy, I tell you, the AFC West just getting better and better and better.
The
and
content
better for the
creates itself.
I go to sleep, everything's normal. I had like 6 tweets. I had like 4 or 5 text messages. I wake up at 6 o'clock and I'm going, what? Mark Davis did what? What did Mark Davis do? He blew the thing up. Despite the fact that he owes John Gruden still another $50 million or $40 million. And now he owes Josh Daniels another 40, not to mention his GM, not to mention Jimmy Garoppolo, who's been benched. I mean, You can't write this stuff. This is the best.
Creates itself.
This
Nick.
is must-see TV.
Y'all called him playing with
this is the second time, ain't it?
But Daniels, this is the second time. No coach in NFL history, man. No coach in NFL history has been fired
mid-season
twice.
Yeah,
with less than 2 years on the job. Nobody. Right. And what do we learn today about the Bill Belichick tree of coaching? It sucks.
Did we learn it today? But we learned today.
Yeah, and now this is like the final straw.
People tell you who they are. You need to believe them. There hasn't been one successful guy off of that tree, and everybody that tries to recreate the Patriot way is missing one key element.
Tom Brady.
Freaking Brady.
Yeah,
None of those guys brought Brady with them.
Yeah.
You could say all you want about the Patriot way and everything else. It only worked because they had Brady and they were winning. Because if it's a losing team and they're putting up with all that crap, it would be a mutiny right off. And you see what's happening in New England now. So this isn't anything new. It was just kind of like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Mark Davis, shame on me.
You know what it is? It's I'm going to the top to get Caleb Williams. That's what it says.
No.
It says
they won't get there. They'll screw that up.
I'll go.
They don't want Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams ain't gonna thrive.
With Devontae Adams. You never know. He comes in with a great target. So, and now they got their rookie. This would maybe say that because they're gonna start the rookie out, for the rest of the year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that says the writing on the wall that we're gonna sink this year. You guys came in and it was taking all the big Snickers and the king size Snickers out the bowl and got caught stealing out the candy jar last night, and that's how they got fired. But the rumor is they got fired because the Chiefs was trying to trade for Devontae Adams, so they're trying to send over a first and maybe somebody else, and they didn't want to give them to us, so they got fired. They got thrown to the trash. That's why I think. That's why
they made one trade with the Chiefs. I was hoping for a second. If not, if they could have gotten Renfro for a second or third round pick before they left the door, heck yeah, I would have made that deal in a heartbeat. But
it wouldn't, Nick, it wouldn't even matter what receiver Chiefs would have got. It wouldn't even matter because Nagy gonna play Nagy. Nagy gonna do Nagy, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, Andy did defend his receivers yesterday, and he is putting Sky Moore out in the press conference today, so that should be interesting to see what he has to say. But listen, I mean, the Raiders. Let's stay on the Raiders topic because I think it's fascinating as hell because they are so inept. Mark Davis is the most unusual owner in any of sport. Always has been. I mean, he gives Jim Irsay a run for his money, and we all know what Irsay's antics are. And this guy, inherited this team from his dad. I loved Al Davis. I thought Al Davis was great for football. He was great for the AFC. He was great for the Chiefs. He was also a very kind-hearted man that people didn't know about. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, he wouldn't put up with this crap. There's no way he would have hired these kinds of people and tried to create the Patriot way. I mean, he's got Tom Brady as a minority owner. You think Tom said had anything to do with this? I don't even know if Tom's officially on board or if he's been consulted yet. But my goodness, the Patriot way doesn't work outside of unless Tom Brady.
Right. And that's and that's been seen. They tried it in Kansas City to some degree.
Yeah. But Lou, it did work though for a little bit. When you had Wise and Cornell, like Wise, both of them from New England, it worked until about the situation. Right. Todd Haley came and shit went to hell. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Oh, you at the bar. You at the bar. So
I'm at the bar. So we're at the bar. It's all good.
So honestly,
I think
that's what happened.
Your definition of worked is a little bit different than most. Okay?
Well, listen, they brought some stability. Pioli, didn't realize until within a week after he hired Haley, oops, I think I made a mistake. So Romeo comes in, Weiss comes in and think, okay, these guys will be a good influence on Haley. And at the end of the season, what happened? Weiss walks out in the playoff game and goes home and eats pizza or goes to a pizza joint. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, the Patriot way doesn't work. Lou, you hit the nail on the head. It's Tom Brady. Bill Belichick may get all these wins and get all these accolades of a great defensive mind, which he is. But if Tom Brady wasn't his quarterback, he might not have won Super Bowl on his resume. And that's the power of what Tom Brady was. And that's the power of what his leadership did. And he willed his team to win. But there were times Brady played in some of these Super Bowls. He wasn't very good. When they beat the Rams, I mean, he stunk. He had one good drive near the end of the game that gave him a touchdown, and that was enough. And the Rams offense, who put up 55 points against the Chiefs earlier in the year. 53. Sorry.
No. 3. They scored 3.
They scored 3 points. And listen, I mean, the Raiders are dysfunctional. They will always be dysfunctional. The league forced the Commanders / Redskins and Daniels to sell. Daniel Snyder was kind of forced into it. There's a lot of accusations going around in with the Raiders and a lot of things that have been swept under the table and the whole Gruden mess and everything else. It's time the league steps in and does something about Davis. If he sells his team to competent ownership, they can put a good team together. I kind of hope it doesn't happen because it doesn't matter. Even if he goes and gets Deion Sanders, which is my prediction, he's going to go all in on Deion Sanders, which will make absolutely no sense. I doubt he would do that to his kids. But you know what? If Davis offers him a Gruden contract, he'll go. There's no question he'll go.
I don't agree with that, Nick. I don't think Deion goes. I think that the two names right now that you have to look for, what's happening in Michigan right now, Jim Harbaugh is going to be right at the top of the list. If there's any way, I mean, lawsuits aside, whatever, that Mark Davis could bring John Gruden back, I think he would do it.
Gruden,
he would. I truly believe that.
I think he was.
Some of these guys, some guys are just meant to be coordinators, and Josh McDaniels is that guy. So I would imagine at some point he'll be back with New England.
He's a good quarterback
next season, and he can work together with
Matt Jones,
Bill O'Brien, and everything will be fine.
I bet they're going to try to pull Spags.
Either the khakis or Chucky. That's where I'm going.
Hence, you make a good point. Spags, I think, would be a terrific choice because he would bring discipline to that locker room. He'd bring discipline to the defense. He would bring in a strong offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy could be a guy. Eric should have been hired, in the last couple of cycles when the Raiders were looking for head coaches. He would have been a terrific fit as well. And the rumor now in Washington is that, there could be a head coaching change here pretty soon, and Eric gets promoted to see what he can do the rest of the year. But, McDaniels was a bust. Gruden got into some trouble. He got caught, and the organization didn't handle it well. The league stepped in, and it was a disaster and a mess. And it continues to be. And good news for the Chiefs because they're not fixing it this year. They're not correcting their mistakes. And we're going to find out a lot about these players because they were all pretty upset after the Lions lost on Monday night. They had a lot of no comments or what's wrong with the offense kind of stuff. And their lack of output in the media tells me that they're beyond frustrated. And listen, I don't want to hear one person tell me that Devontae Adams deserves better. He took the coin. He went to play 1 year with his buddy, who was an average quarterback at best. And now he's whining and complaining. I don't want to hear it. You're cashing a $120 some odd million contract with a whole bunch of money guaranteed. And if they don't throw the ball to you, well, big deal.
It's not about winning, though.
Beat the Lions anyway.
You got an offense.
It's about winning, though. He's all about the money, though.
An offense.
He don't want to win. If he wanted to win, he never would have gone there. There were plenty of other options that he could have gone to.
But Derek Carr was his buddy, and Derek Carr was his buddy. He said, "No, let me go with my buddy. I believe my buddy. We had that chemistry already." But your buddy leaves, and then what? Your buddy leaves, then what?
They didn't have the chemistry last year either.
Again, supposedly they've got an offensive coach. You'd think you could get, maybe arguably the best receiver in the NFL, the ball in some way, shape, or form. Now, again, that could be on Jimmy, and I would imagine a lot of it is. They didn't really upgrade at the quarterback position, so that was also a big mistake. And again, trying to go back to that Patriot tree and try to recreate something. I don't know. What, he went 2 or 3 games with Jimmy when he was in New England? And so they went cheaper at quarterback. They had to pay Carr going out the door anyway. Now they're paying all these coaches. Here's an interesting number. 17. Antonio Pierce, who's the interim now in Las Vegas, is now the 17th head coach since Andy Reid came to the AFC West.
That's just crazy.
17, if you combine the other 3 teams. Ridiculous. And we've been talking about it throughout the season. Is that just the division is a bit of a tire fire in terms of the way these other organizations are built, the way they run things. And like I said, you said, Spags. I don't know. I think Harbaugh is going to be his target for sure.
How deep got to be? I mean, how deep his pockets is, man. Like, he just throwing money out there. Just let these coaches go left from right until you find that right guy. And I like I said at the beginning, I think it's a Caleb Williams thing, and I think that's what's about to happen.
I don't think so. They're going to win some groundwork for that, though.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Groundwork for
it. It could be. But you know what? They're going to screw it up because they're going to win some games. They're going to win some games down the stretch with this young quarterback. They're going to rally around him. Happens all the time. I mean, listen, all these teams that have been trying to tank, guess what? I mean, the Texans, the Panthers.
And that's what happened with
even though they've given their draft picks away. They're not helping themselves.
That's how the Broncos won last week. The Chiefs knew they were trying to tank and get more players. So they just gave them the game. Just gave them the game. That's what happened.
Broncos won because they made the plays on the field, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't want to hear about any more of that stupid conspiracy.
We gotta stick to the Raiders, sir. We gotta stick to the Raiders. We gotta stick to the Raiders, guys.
And Mark Davis.
We at the bar, so it's off topic.
Mark Davis has back-to-back championships with the Las Vegas Aces. The WNBA team. He's got Becky Hammond, probably the best. I don't know. She may be one of the best coaches period in NBA.
Yeah. Come on. Well, hey, whatever works.
She came up under Pop. Two championships.
I don't know. I tell you what, I'm going to do.
He's got a good thing going with it.
When the Chiefs,
can he hire the first woman coach?
He might. When I'm in Las Vegas, in Las Vegas for Super Bowl week with the Chiefs, I'm going to personally shake his hand and say thank you for your ineptitude. You just make the Chiefs better with every decision you make.
They're gonna punch you right, Nick.
Guys, listen.
Hey, there's no iron team. There's no iron team when we go to the Super Bowl. Come on.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Hey,
there you go. Click from my heart, man.
Real quick, Bosa and Young on the same team now. On the same defensive level. What are y'all thoughts on that? Bosa
but Young has been up and down.
Before we get into that, let's go right into the next sponsor. Before we get into the next topic, let's go ahead to Eric. What you got to say about it?
Let's talk about my good friend Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is one of the best realtors in Kansas City. Even if you're outside Kansas City listening, if you need to find a home or a good referral partner, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com. He's your real estate advisor. And again, if you're looking for someone you can trust, who's also a Chiefs fan and somebody that's going to guide you in the right direction, he is by far one of the best in Kansas City. Give Eric a call at 816-729-3785.
Also a shrewd
investor.
What would you talk to me, guys? Talk to me. Young and Bosa. What are y'all thoughts on Young and Bosa, man? To me, that's incredible. Good pickup for San Francisco.
University.
Come on.
I was so mad the Chiefs didn't go after Montez Sweat. I was like, come on now.
Yeah, that was a stupid trade. Unless they're going to pay him, that was a stupid trade. But for Young, Bosa played every snap against the Bengals. What did that accomplish? Nothing. I'm shocked that the Bengals won. Purdy went down. He's 0 for his last 3 games, and they're in trouble.
Told you Purdy wasn't Purdy good.
He was not Purdy good, but our Purdy, Dave Purdy, is really good.
That's right.
But I think that I
agree.
I like Chase Young a lot. He has not really lived up to the expectations. This is a good spot for him. It's a position of need. The 49ers were never going to stand pat. They were trying to acquire a couple of other players. It didn't work. They don't care about draft picks. They don't care about any of that stuff. They'll do whatever they have to make the team better, because right now they're basically in second place behind the Seattle Seahawks, who very quietly should be 6-1, but are 5-2, and they bring Frank Clark back. And I think they made another trade yesterday.
They traded for Leonard Williams.
Yeah, so they got
ex-USC guy.
Good fit. Good
when
fit.
He gets an opportunity. He's a good player.
Yeah. So the Seattle right now is the team in the West to beat, in my opinion. The Rams are in trouble. The Cardinals are the Cardinals. I'm going to show.
I'm gonna let that slide, Nick. I'm gonna let that slide, sir.
But right now, the 49ers were desperate and they had to make the move. But you know what's amazing? Not only did they get Chase, but they also got Trent Williams in trades with the Commanders. I don't get it, man. I just don't know.
For not a lot of
draft compensation when you think about it.
Trent was making big money. Chase is still on his rookie deal, and they may have their 5th-year option. However, they work that all out. But if he can return to kind of like where he was when he came in the league as defensive rookie of the year, Maybe playing with Bosa lights a fire under him, maybe with a winning organization, the whole attitude changes. They've got a terrific defensive line coach out there, and they're not paying their quarterback. I mean, they can spend money in some other areas. So, it's almost like in fantasy football when you go like the zero quarterback theory,
right?
Like you're not paying them. So,
and that's a big mistake. I mean, they have put so much pressure on Purdy.
We'll see.
And I know that they don't have to technically give him an extension until, after year 3, but I would have been very proactive on this. If this is the quote unquote next Joe Montana,
well, it's not too late, Nick. I mean, this is only his second year.
Yeah, but now there's doubt in, now he's lost 3 games in a row. And I think, I'm not sure if they're on the bye this week, but I know they have to go to Jacksonville, I think, in 2 weeks. And, Jaguars are, some say the best team in the.
So you're saying Brock's agent should have been going after.
No, Brock's agent should have been
after
working
the extension early.
Absolutely, there was no excuse for that.
Yeah, I don't think San Francisco does business that way, especially because they
defense first.
They know what he is too. I mean, they're not going to overpay for what he does for that team. At a certain point, maybe. They've had this love affair with Kirk Cousins for years since the Redskins days. Hey, he's a free agent at the end of the year.
That's crushing. That was crushing to hear and watch.
Awful.
Just
awful.
All right, but it doesn't matter. They still gonna suck. Let's get back into the AFC West. Right. AFC West. We got the standings. Even though the Chiefs lost, they still 6-2. The Chargers are 3-4. The Raiders are 3-4, and the lonely Broncos are 3-5. So with that said, what's going around the West and the Raiders, is a dumpster fire. The Broncos trying to come out of the trash can, and the Chargers don't know when to put the right plug in to charge right up. So as with the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that we need to stop rotating all these receivers and just say, okay, Rashee Rice is our guy. Tony's going to be our slot guy. And we're going to have somebody else, Watson or somebody else. That's why I went back and watched the games when the Chiefs wasn't scoring that many points. And I kind of went back and said, what is wrong? And Nick Wright hit it right on the nail. It was like, you got to stop rotating all these receivers in. They ain't going to never jail. Nobody, Mahomes and the receivers ain't going to never jail. You got multiple receivers set over and over again. You got to have that main target that, okay, even though he dropped the ball, we still going to go back to him. You can't make Rashee Rice drop a ball and then take him out and say, all right, Scott Moore, you're going to go down this whole drive. All right, Tony, you're going to go down this whole drive. You just got to have that main guy. Like, this is it. This is what we're going to do. And this is the guy we're going to build off. Because if Drake coach little kids, his sons. If you got your kids out there playing ball and you keep throwing it at them, and you take them out, they ain't gonna never get the rhythm down. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like you got to put these receivers in and choose going into this game. They need to choose who their receivers is and say, this is what we're gonna live and die off of. And whoever else in, you're gonna fill in the role of giving this guy reps or breaks when his time is up on the sideline.
Well, I think that was the plan, and that is the plan, is that this was the whole idea. All these games, we talk about the extended preseason, everything else. These guys and I think they were trying to get these guys, somebody to separate so that they can kind of whittle it down to that core 4, right? And maybe other guys slip to the practice squad, stay on special teams, whatever, just keep them around for depth. So I think Rashee has done that. I think for the most part, still dropped the pad, whatever, that's going to happen. Okay. But I think he's kind of separated himself. I think they were waiting, especially like MVS to say, okay, he's the veteran of this group. You got, we need some production. So a lot of things I think are going into this passing game, but I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think that's what they're trying to get to is, okay, when we're making this playoff run, and towards the end of the season, this is our core 4. And unless there's an injury, we're going to roll with these guys for the most part.
Yeah. I believe this, man. No, I think it's Nagy. His play calling is boring. And it sucks. Like, you're not giving these guys proper routes. Like, all these slants and these digs. It's like, come on, stretch the field. Watson stretch the field all the time. But them are streak routes. We talking about deep post, deep corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, really get these guys going. Let Mahomes be able to trust his guys, like what Nick said, Nick and Bowtie said. Get your three receivers, right? And you begin to trust him. Okay, they dropped the pass. Keep throwing it to them. Build their confidence up. See, what happens is when they drop the pass, you take them out the game. So now what happened? You belittling them in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Build their confidence up. Keep throwing them the ball. Jerry Wright dropped a couple of passes. T.O. dropped a couple of passes. Hell, Randy Moss dropped some passes. It happens.
Preach.
Throw them the ball.
But I don't think any of these guys are T.O., Jerry Wright.
I mean, but Lou, you will never know. Lou, you will never know because it's overshadowed.
I get your point.
I think this is in his cup. You know what I mean? I don't know what's in his cup today. He gave a good speech there. He is at the bar. So I don't know what
the bar today. BYOB Wednesday. The Nagy thing. It's at the end of the day. This is Coach Reed's offense. Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying that Nagy is great play caller, a good play caller, average play caller. I think he calls what they have in the game plan. And and if Andy Reid wants to make adjustments, I'm sure they discussed that before the game. And it's not so much the plays. I think it's the players, and maybe they're not running the proper routes at the proper time. They're not where they're supposed to be. And Patrick sees that and like, okay, who I know where Travis is going to be.
Well,
go ahead, Nick.
Here's the problem. The problem is you're right. It's spacing. If you look at the overhead views of the game, there were times when four receivers were in a 15 to 20 yard box or rectangle.
It ain't drawn up that way.
It's not drawn up that way. These guys are supposed to be going here, and other guys are supposed to be going there. And the other problem, Andre, you also made an excellent point is, the offense looks stale and boring because I don't think everybody understands the playbook. And I think to some degree, I'm not saying you dummy it down, but you're not seeing the jet sweeps. You're not seeing the reverses. You're not seeing the decoys in the deep passes that to open up the underneath. You're just not seeing that stuff. And I firmly believe that if Watson, Rice, Kelsey, and I'll put Hardman in that category, plus McKinnon, or Pacheco on the field at the same time, those are the guys you can count on right now. You can't count on Moore. You can't count on Kadarius Toney, but you can't give up on him either. I mean, those two guys made huge plays in the Super Bowl. That one Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl last year because they stepped up, even though they were wide open. Every player and every coach
trust them. Yes.
You got to trust that they're going to catch it. And being wide open is the hardest catch to make in the NFL. So you can't give up on them. But the focal point has to be those guys feeding him the ball, getting confidence, sprinkling in Sky Moore, let him regain his footing. I think Kadarius Toney has all the talent in the world. I really do. I'm not saying he's a number one, but he's in his own head right now. And until he gets out of it, and the Chiefs have to give him some space and not try to force plays to gain his confidence, they have to create opportunities that he can make a play, which is a little bit different. Don't put him in that, shovel pass in the goal line when, Mahomes should have just kept it and walked in. We can look at this film all day long, but right now Watson is the best receiver on this football team. Rashee Rice is number 2. I think Hardman is number 3 because he's proven he can do it, and he seems to understand the playbook better than the other guys do. So
has he?
I think he's done enough as a third option right now with the other two guys struggling. I have to put him ahead. So Andy Reid and Matt Nagy have to decide this weekend against the Dolphins, and we'll talk a lot more about this game on Friday's show, which is a must win for this franchise, for this team, especially if they want to be the top seed. I'm expecting this offense is going to be a whole lot different on Sunday, and we're going to see more of a focal point in a repetitive nature of having some of the guys that are making plays because this game's so important on the field throughout the game on Sunday morning.
Well, teams have had success running the ball against the Dolphins. Do you think?
But
are you going to see more? I don't believe it, but is there any chance we see Pacheco carry the ball like 15 or 18 times?
I don't know. I don't think the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have to fix the passing game before they work on the running game.
Absolutely.
That's what the bye week. The bye week's
going to be
for.
there. Yeah.
Bye week's for. Maybe you bring up a couple of the young guys.
But I'm just saying, to win the game, if it really is a must win, and is it, yes, you want to continue to work on the passing game. Yeah, obviously they're going to throw the ball 35 times minimum, no matter what. Yeah. But will they get more runs in there? And to me, it seems like we talk about Creed and Trey and Joe in the middle, and like this is one of the best units, in the NFL, guard to guard. These guys are among the best, if not the best. Maybe Philly's got a better crew, but it doesn't seem like we use them that way, right?
Yeah, but they're not playing well. I mean, they did not play well last game. They did not play that well, in several stretches when they've had to run the ball. They've really struggled, and that's what concerns me. And a part of that is because the Chiefs don't have that breakaway speed running back. Pacheco's if you give him a straight ahead opportunity, he can crank up the speed. Right. But if you're asking him to zig and zag and cut back, he's not that guy.
He's not Jahmyr Gibbs,
and he's not a bruiser, and they don't have a bruiser to get a short yardage situation. That's why I thought Derrick Henry would be a terrific addition to the Chiefs. In certain circumstances, but obviously the price tag was too much. But that's the other problem. Andy's not going to fix both those things this weekend.
After the bye week, I see what happened. I see Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting just going down and bring up Price, wherever his name is, number 34. Right. I said his name wrong. But again, everybody made a good point. Everybody made a good point. But the point is, you got to give Rashee Rice the ball. That's my. If he's looking like he's doing great on screens, he's running the right routes. He's getting open. But you got to have them guys. The set guys, because if you keep rotating everybody in over and over again, nobody ain't gonna really get that chemistry down.
Yeah,
they're not gonna get that chemistry. But speaking of chemistry, the Chiefs, even though they lost, if the playoffs started in week 8, the Chiefs would be number 1 seed. Doesn't matter. So what you guys think about that?
It don't matter because right now I don't trust Kansas City to even I don't have that confidence in the Chiefs to where I believe they're going to the Super Bowl.
Bengals ain't on there. The Bengals ain't on the board.
Nah, it ain't the Bengals. It's the fact the way the offense runs. I don't have faith in Chiefs. They growing like that faith. It just because again the offense like the pass game has to match the run game, and I feel like without the passing game they're not gonna make it deep in the playoffs.
It's possible.
But they got the win. They got the win over Jacksonville, so that's what makes this game so important. Is then now if you get the win over Miami, you've got the tiebreaker with them as well. Cincinnati's got a few tough games left, so you got to kind of stay at that spot. This is a big game. Then you come back. You got Philadelphia on a Monday night after the bye, so there's a couple of tough ones coming up. But the rest, the division games and so forth. So to Nick's point, this game is very important for tiebreakers and just from a confidence standpoint, going into the bye, you hate to lose going into the bye because then you're just sitting with that long flight home from overseas. You got a week off, a week and a half, 2 weeks off to think about it. So this is might be a big, a bigger game than you might think in week 9.
It is big because, Andy generally in the bye week, if they win, they let the guys off for a week. And we all know Travis Kelce's going out of the country to go watch girlfriend Taylor Swift. And a lot of these guys need a rest and they need a break. And it'll be a lot better if they're having that break, beating the Miami Dolphins. But, the Chiefs still have it all in front of them. They got the tiebreaker over Jacksonville. They beat the Dolphins. They got the tiebreaker. They got the Bills and the Bengals both at Arrowhead. They win those games. I mean, they've got the tiebreaker basically and maybe wrap it up on Christmas Day. Facing the Las Vegas Raiders at Arrowhead. So listen, this is a hugely important game. It's must win. It's pull out all the stops. The Dolphins have their deficiencies. The Chiefs have their problems. It's a perfect Sunday morning matchup that the NFL has created, despite the fact this should have been at Arrowhead. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's in Frankfurt, Germany. But, I don't know how they're going to balance the run versus the pass. I don't know if Andy Reid, if the running game is working, he'll keep at it, because he likes to throw the ball, or whether this is going to say, Patrick, you know what, we're going to let you just do your thing. We're going to stay out of your way, read the defense, make the calls, work at the receivers this week and say, run your routes. And if I'm one of the coaches, I go to MVS and I say, we're lighting a firecracker under your tailbone, dude. You got to run your routes and keep running them, whether you're primary, secondary, or you're ad-libbing. You got to go all out, and he's not going all out right now. And he's not the only one, and he has the understanding of the offense. He has the talent to stretch defenses. It's within him to do it, but you've got to, that's why it's so critical that Watson be the long guy, and you get Rice involved, and you bring and you get Hardman more involved, because I think MVS is a problem for this offense. Not that he's the only one. We can blame Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, but MVS is getting a lot more bucks out of the Chiefs. And in his second year, to only have 1 touchdown at this point and few receptions, it's inexcusable with that talent level.
So in that wide receiver room, who do you think who's going to be the voice?
Before you say something, Lou, everybody, if you had to talk to the team before this Miami Dolphin game, what would be your words to your players if you was a coach, Lou? What would be your words to the players to get them going for this game?
We got to kick Tyreek's ass. I mean, that's just simple as that. Well, no, I mean, they all know. I mean, they're professionals. I guess what I was asking, and I guess my question or what I'm thinking of is who's the voice, the one in the wide receiver room that's saying, hey, I mean, they all hear the noise. They know what's going on in the field. We're kind of holding this team back. They have to feel that. So is it too much for them to shoulder? Is there not a voice, like veteran voice, to kind of bring them together and say, guys, this is on us? I mean, this is it.
Yeah, so, it's Travis Kelce. That's it. That's the voice.
But is he in the? Do they meet as a group? Does he meet with the tight ends?
If you watch this
with Blameyer and whoever else is coaching the wide receivers.
If you watch the New Heights podcast this morning, he talked about how he didn't feel like McCole Hartman saying that he lost the game for the team with a fumble. He's like, no, it's on all of us. We all have to play better.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility as a leader to make sure that we correct the mistakes. Everything that we saw on film on Monday was correctable. Everything that we looked at was correctable. He's your leader. He is the leader of the wide receivers, the tight ends, and that's it. End of story. There's no other wide receiver that's going to step up and become that leader at this point. It's up to Travis, and he's willing to take on the responsibility. And, he
has to.
If I'm Travis and I'm looking at that game film that they saw on Monday, and it was ugly, and all the mistakes in the routes, and the guy's not moving when Patrick was moving, and all these things, he's going to have them fired up to get ready to go to Frankfurt. As he put it, it doesn't matter if we leave Sunday morning, Saturday night, or Friday or Thursday or Monday. I'm ready to play football, and my team's going to be ready to play football. And I think he has to lead them, and he's going to lead them. He is that guy. There's no one else outside of Mahomes on that offense. So those two guys are going to get the band together, and they're going to lay it out for him. The fact that, Patrick Mahomes said the comments he did after the game, where somebody asked him if this is going to linger, and he basically shut the door on that. He said it won't. And that was it. Okay. That's perfect. That's the best 2 words he could possibly say.
Okay, real quick. Kareem said, hold on. Go ahead. Kareem said, Kareem said, safeties are the most important on the field Sunday. Reed, Edwards, and Cook. That's what Kareem said. And again, I agree because, the Miami Dolphins are going to stretch the field. They're going to stretch the field, right? But coming back to the Chiefs offense real quick. If the Miami Dolphins shut down that Chiefs run game, who do we trust to make the big play besides
Rice? I've been saying it for the longest.
Yeah, Ramsey's gonna be on Kelce, and Rice is gonna have opportunities.
We already seen what happened when Ramsey was on Kelce.
And McKinnon's gonna make plays. Listen, Mahomes has to check down. He's got to check down. Trust that at 3rd and 6, if he throws a 2-yard pass in a flat, you got to hope your running back or your wide receiver or whoever can get 3 or 4 yards running straight ahead in a one-on-one defensive matchup. The Dolphins don't tackle all that great, so it's not that's not going to be an issue. But Rashee Rice has to become the focal point of this offense, and he has to be the guy that Mahomes clearly trusts the most outside of Watson. And those two guys have to be fed the ball. Watson shouldn't have 3 or 4 targets. He should have 6 or 7. Rashee Rice should have 6 or 7 or 8 targets a game. You know, that
18 targets a game.
That lets Kelce have more of the middle of the field, more opportunities. Maybe he's not triple team, he's only double team, you know, and he slips free, you know, because he's got that ability. But it has to be Rice. Rice has to become the focal point of the offense at some point.
I'm gonna go on the limb and say this. I think when it's all said and done, Rashee Rice is gonna go down in history as one of the Chiefs' best wide receivers. Why I say that? Y'all probably ain't seeing it now, but when I see bits of talent, like I said with Snead last year, when Snead got drafted, I said it with a lot of players when they got drafted by the Kansas Chiefs, and it turned out to be just right. I think Rashee Rice, when it's all said and done, that's why I'm getting ahead of the horse. That's why I'm saying it first. I think Rashee Rice, when it's all said and done, he's gonna be one of the best wide receivers in the Chiefs history. I think when Mahomes, if I'm talking to the team before the game, yes, we have Kelce. Yes, he's a big shiny toy. Heck, Taylor Swift love him. We all know that. But at the end of the day, everybody loves him. But at the end of the day, you got to give these guys chances with the ball. Less targets, more targets. You know what I mean? If you get more, they get more targets. They're going to shine. They're going to shine more if they get more targets.
Take care of the ball was going to be my message. Just take care of the ball.
Take care of the ball and less turnovers, because don't force the ball where it don't need to be forced, Patrick Mahomes. We don't need that right now. We don't need you to force the ball where you think it needed to be go. But you look around, spread. You got time in the pocket. Look at the other receivers that's open. You know what I mean? Because look, Tony was screaming open. Rice, heck, Scott Moore was open. But you can't trust these guys if you only give them 2, 3, or 4 targets a game. How can they get comfortable with you?
So let me say this real quick. I'm real quick. Right behind Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice is getting almost second most targets behind Kelce. So Rashee Rice is getting his targets, but the thing is, like you said, if Rashee Rice is wide open, man, throw him the ball. You know, because we don't want to do that. We don't want to make this offense more about Kelce, but more about everybody in general. But at the same time, like what Kareem stated, Watson been playing great football. No, he came back from an elbow injury, you know, and playing consistent football. So again, just be more consistent with these guys, man. Keep the guys that are playmakers, keep them out there on the field, man. Let these boys thrive.
Do you guys believe that Patrick, like, purposefully not throwing it to these guys when they're open?
Yes. Yeah, I do. You can see it on the film. You know, I think it's just a trust factor, or it's that, you know, is the offensive line going to break down? And he doesn't, you know, Patrick is at his best when he has the opportunity to survey the field. And in a couple of situations, because his tackles played so poorly, you know, the pocket was collapsing. He couldn't maneuver. Plus, listen, he felt like crap. You know, he had a flu.
Well, not just this past game, and that's fine.
But even in this game, the normal, regular 100% Mahomes probably wins this football game against Denver. He finds a way. That's not the excuse, though. You know, the excuse is, even in other games, as you mentioned, Lou, he has open guys, and he talks about it. And he talks about it every press conference. Yeah, it's on me. I should have gone this way. I missed him. If he stops missing people, then this is a mute conversation. And the Chiefs aren't going to go from the top team in the NFL. We go to 6 now. I mean, give me a break.
So do we believe that, Patrick, this is just quarterback speak at the press conference, or do you truly believe he's not seeing the field as well as?
I think he's just frustrated. I think he's frustrated with the guys not running the routes the right way. He's frustrated with the tackles not adjusting. And so he's focusing on Kelce, and that's why there's 3 guys on him. And that's why you got to put
the receivers in. That's why you got to put
to. I mean, Sky Moore was 5 feet away from him, wide open, and he threw the ball to Kelce, and it got.
And he's never going to throw these guys under the bus, and you got to love that about the kid. But I guess it's just.
Mahomes deserved one bad game. He got
just as Coach Reed always said, we got to coach better. I got to call better plays and everything else.
You're right. He does.
you just hope that we don't want to keep hearing that every week.
Right.
Well, he's a teacher. Mahomes has become a teacher.
I got you.
Mahomes is the teacher of the offense right now.
I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, this is what you feel, right?
But this isn't his job. Okay, he's worked with these guys since March,
right?
In the offseason, including Rashee Rice, who wasn't even drafted yet,
right?
And here he is spending all this time working with these guys, and when he's in the midst of a play and they're still not running the proper routes, or they're not running at the speed pace that they need to,
right?
You don't think he's going to be pissed?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You don't think he's going to be upset?
Again, I mean, I give him all props for doing that. It's just difficult, I guess, to get that sort of chemistry without defense on the field, right? I mean, this is what these live bullets was supposed to be. And you would hope by now that we wouldn't be having the same conversation we were having like 6 or 7 weeks ago. So hopefully, again, it's coming. It's hard again as a fan to just sit here and watch. Oh my God, where are these explosive plays? Why aren't we moving the ball more consistently? Why aren't we scoring more points more consistently? But again, I hear what you're saying, Nick, from the coaching perspective, from the quarterback perspective. They're still getting used to this whole thing, but the veterans don't really have that excuse. The MVS thing is kind of disturbing, as well as now Watson. He just doesn't get enough opportunity.
I got the leaf blower.
I agree with that. So again, that's just kind of where we're at, and you just got to show up and play. And every week is a new game, learning experience. And Sunday morning, we'll see what they got.
Just keep your same nucleus of people. Just keep your same nucleus of guys making plays out there and throwing the ball, bro. Because, like, we can't keep trying to go down the wide receiver list and see who's going to step up today. No. You keep the guys out there that's making plays, and you trust those guys to do it. It's simple. You trust those guys that's making plays, and you trust them. Like, Sky Moore, honestly, is a good receiver. It's just the fact that he dropped a couple passes. So what? Sky Moore was efficient last year, right? MVS hasn't really been doing nothing, right? Watson been stepping up tremendously, right? We got your boy Rashee Rice steps up every game and consistently making plays.
So you just mentioned like 5 or 6 guys. Which ones are you like saying, okay, we're not going to play you as much?
That's what that's where it's getting to.
Because right now you're trying to weigh both things. I mean, we don't want to lose. We don't want them to lose their confidence, but hell, they're not making plays, so we got to play these other guys.
Okay, true. MVS is out the door. MVS is going. MVS is out here. Kadarius Toney, to me, I like Kadarius Toney, but at the same time, what has he done for real? Like, what has he done for real? We're in week 9. We're in week 9 now. Come on now. We can't be trying to be, get these guys. No. We know who the playmakers are. Give them the ball so they can be more productive.
Right. That's all.
That's the goal.
And that's the goal. I don't know. I have a, back on Travis Kelce. I had a video of when Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift first met. And I know they said that the French slip bracelet, but this is how it actually happened.
Hense is better than TMZ. I mean, I swear to God.
Yeah, he is.
It's gonna be your new nickname, Mr. TMZ.
He's got guys all over. He's got spies everywhere, man. Come on, you got to watch this video. This is awesome.
If you missed it, this is what happened. It was no friendship bracelet.
This is pretty good.
This is how it happened.
We're 2 hearts with but one beat, 2 souls with but one shoe. Then how can you belong to that silly woman haters club? I'm a woman. Sort of. I'm not like those guys. I'm a sensitive male. I'm in the caring, feeling, and healing. I'm in touch with my feminine side. How nice. It's worse than I thought. We're 2 hearts.
That's what happened. I just But again, it's great for them to is she gonna be out there with them this Sunday? I don't know.
Was that Alfalfa or a young Val Kilmer?
No, it didn't look like Val Kilmer. That's what I thought first when they showed it to me.
What's going on here? Damn,
Hey, I did the best I could. I did the best I could do.
He said Val Kilmer.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Speaking of see who that is. Speaking of see who that is, let's get right into Chiefs Who.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. The greatest segment on YouTube. Forget about all that other stuff. TMZ, Hense, whatever. Here we go.
Here we
Strike up the band. Give me the new graphic. Oh, look at that.
That's pretty.
Oh, that is pretty good. All right. Let's go. Chief Who. Guys, get your thinking caps on. This chief is originally from Augusta, Georgia. Not a golfer.
McCole Hardman.
Played in the Georgia Dome as a youth in a Little League championship.
McCole Hardman.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan of anime.
Oh, I know who it is.
All right.
Anime.
He was originally recruited by USC. That's Southern California. Didn't go there. In between going to a community college and where he ended up, he flipped for Wendy.
Watson.
He was
number 35.
Which one?
Watson, number 35. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback.
Can you say his first name? Chief Who? Please.
Jalen Watson.
There you go.
There you go.
Agent Zero. Okay, the rest of the clues. AFC Player of the Week once last year. He has a tropical nickname, Watts Island. And yeah, I think that's about it. He made some game-changing plays on the way to the Super Bowl. But here's our winner, TMZ Hense. Let's go.
All right, we got to give a shout out to Kareem too, because he said Watson. So Kareem,
he did.
Kareem, you send me an instant message, and I will send you send me your your address, and I'll send you something out of my collection. All right.
Way to go, Kareem. Let's go.
Way to go, Kareem.
That was Chiefs Who, brought to you by Nick Haynes. I probably said his name right, but again, man. Again, we all said a lot of stuff at this bar today. You know, some people drunk water, some people drunk wherever they drunk.
We don't know who's in their cup. Who's in whose cup?
You know, somebody bar, they blowing leaves in the neighborhood, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We all had a good time chilling with the guys today. And again, Kareem, congratulations on whatever Nick's gonna send you. What's the prize? What's the prize gonna be?
I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find an old school. He just needs to tell me who his favorite player is, and I'll send him one of my cards from my card collection.
Look at that. Nick coming through.
Nick's coming through. Remember, if we get 1,000 subscribers
on
our YouTube channel,
1,000 subscribers,
when we hit the number 1,000, the thousandth, I can't say the word.
You get 1,000 subscribers,
Mr. 1,000,
number 1,000.
We'll get a Lenny Dawson Hall of Fame item that I know of only 3 that exist.
Lenny Dawson.
Nick, this is a visual medium. Could you show it? Is it nearby?
I cannot show it at the moment, but I will show it on Friday.
Lenny Dawson.
My guess is it's in a safe somewhere in the in the Athan compound there in some exclusive neighborhood in the greater Kansas City area.
It's in the cabinet, so I'll dig it out.
Security.
Go give a shout out to our sponsors once again, Nick.
All right, I want to thank Dave Purdy at Supreme Lending. If you're looking for a mortgage, want to find out if you qualify, give him a call at 816-405-5831 or email him at dave.purdy@supremelending.com, because we know Dave is Purdy good. And Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group, part of SunWest, part of KW. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785 or email him at esellskc@gmail.com. So if you found a home, we got you covered with a lender. We got you covered with a realtor. You are all set. I want to thank both those guys for being a sponsor on the show.
Absolutely, Eric and Purdy.
Give the shout out, Cedric.
Well, my guy over here, Kareem, with the
win. Kareem show today.
Yes, it has. He's been hot right now.
Chicken dinner.
Yeah, he's been hot except for Williams. He's been hot. With the whole show, we haven't mentioned Williams at all because he's irrelevant. So we give a shout out to Kareem, man. Big win, man. Again, love the love, bro. Love the love again, man. So just keep it going, guys.
So still on the 53, Dre.
Still on the 53 for now. Yes, we'll see what happens.
With that said, we'll be back Friday, guys, at 12 noon your time. And know the time in Frankfurt.
Yeah, we may be a little delayed on Friday. We have a couple of potential guests who will be live from Frankfurt if we can work out the time stuff. We may have a couple of inside reports for you on Friday. I'm pretty excited about that.
I think, again, just if my geography works, I think it's like 5-hour difference.
6 hours
for East Coast. That's me. And then you all will be 6 hours. So, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Well, we'll see. So we'll be back on Friday. We'll preview the Chiefs, Mahomes versus Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins versus the Chiefs, the Reed versus whatever their head coach's name.
McDaniel. Mike
McDaniel.
Boy genius.
The next Andy Reid.
Strange dude. That's all I got to say. And Germany is going to absolutely love him. So we'll be back Friday. I want to thank everybody again. Check us out at ChiefsBlitz.com. Check out our Facebook page or Twitter page. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. The goal is 1,000 by the end of the year. Mr. 1,000 will get a prize I will show on the show. I'll show on the show. I like that. That's pretty good. I will show on the show Friday. All right, everybody. You guys take care. Peace out. Love you all.
All right. Peace.